Folks, welcome back to So Bad It's Good. Today, I was asked if I wanted to have these two guys on, and the scream I scrumped when I saw the names, because I have spent so many hours listening to them or watching their videos, and I think a lot of you might have the same experience. Their podcast is called Camp Counselors, rated 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Do it now before we start the interview. It's a really easy, fast way to support content creators. But then if you look even past the podcast, everything that they've been doing on their TikTok, their Instagram, their character work, it takes me back to a place of childhood, the kind of joy I get. But these guys are pop culture connoisseurs as well. They're also on a live tour, the Strip Mall Tease tour, Zachariah's tour, but Jonathan is opening up. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we have two geniuses, Zachariah Porter and Jonathan Carson. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Best intro ever.
I mean, I gotta tell, I was
wow.
really nervous. I watch your videos with my girlfriend all the time, and we will spend hours just going back and forth of, you know, you at the lunch table or you as the mom. She said, oh my God, bring up Gigi. And we just sit there and laugh. And I just thought, it comes from a place of joy with you guys, right?
Yeah,
Totally.
for sure.
Like you can tell you love it.
100%.
Yeah, we're like living our dream right now.
Truly.
It's amazing. It's
Yeah, because this started like during the pandemic. You guys both had normal jobs of some sort, and then
Yeah.
you started content creating.
Yeah, I was in a restaurant. I had a college degree, hated doing I was doing nonprofit fundraising, quickest way
Sexy.
to drain you. Oh my God, it was a
raffle
nightmare.
baskets.
A lot of saran wrap raffle baskets. But I went into bartending and serving. I did that for 8 years, and then during the pandemic, I was making videos, and then 5 years later, we're here on your show.
I mean, can you, the pinnacle, but can you believe, I mean, you're selling out places. Like I checked your dates that are coming up because I'm going to go to the one at the Wiltern in Los Angeles.
Yay.
You know, I've seen Wilco there. I've seen big bands there, and you guys are selling out massive venues. And I just thought how weird in this, I mean, you watch the content and you're like, oh yeah, this is totally perfect. But sometimes I wonder if you're just like, this is rarefied air at this point.
Yeah, I think a lot of people show up and they're always worried or I don't know, they're weary of how someone from the internet can transform what they do into an hour-long show. In our case, it's an hour and 20 minutes, but I think the character work and the storytelling is just natural with us, right?
Yeah.
Well, you guys balance each other out in this perfect way. You know what I'm saying? Like you can sometimes go to the moon, and you can sometimes be a grounding force, even though you have your own unique sense of humor. But that's why I think you guys work, and the podcast is so excellent. Watching you guys bounce off of each other. And I mean, you just met 5 years ago, right? Online?
Yeah, it was during the pandemic. Yeah.
Yeah, Instagram, a place of love.
Yeah.
At what point does a podcast get thrown out? Because every good relationship should eventually lead to a podcast.
See, I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. We have done great, but I don't think everybody could.
But you had a podcast.
I did. I had a podcast before that, and then I was doing producing work for a podcast. So I've kind of
You were video editing and all of that stuff before, yeah.
Yeah. I worked for a bunch of nuns.
Yeah, you actually
crazy.
worked at a Catholic school, right?
I did. Wow.
And you were like, hey, sis.
Hey, sis. Yeah. Hey, sis. They were like, don't do that, babes. No, they were, everybody, for the most part, was fine there. But
it was funny, though, because you come home and you talk to me and you'd be like, oh, yeah, my boss' sister. And I'm like, that is just a crazy
yeah, and we had to call them
situation.
sister. I think you just get used to it when you're there. But
Yeah.
Have any
happy
of
to
the
be out
nuns
there.
reached out since you've achieved internet success and be like, we did pray for you and we are so proud of you?
Our prayers works. If only you got a wife. No, I'm kidding. No, but I did get a DM, or not a DM, a Slack message from one of the sisters, and she was like, do you have a TikTok? I think I found your TikTok. I was like, oh, it's over for me.
I'm still, the nuns are slacking?
Yeah.
They have
they're
a big Slack channel?
Yeah, it was a college university, so they have to keep it. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not working at the monastery.
No. No, I was doing social media and video editing for the university.
Well, I was right before we started this. You guys were out there doing your character, I think the mom, and you were out there, and you guys have this really interesting language when you work of oh, cut it faster or this or that. And I just thought every day, my favorite part of your videos too is not just even the content. what I will love is that I can tell you guys film for each other and you can hear like little laughs while you're filming, like hee hee hee. And that's what, like, I love those little laughs.
Well, I love that you say that. And I think so many people love that. And for me, it's like, I keep those in my edits, and so does Jonathan, because I think it's that love of the SNL break where people do break character and they do laugh. People love to see that kind of like,
like this is a real moment.
Yeah.
And you're finding it as funny as the, you know, us at home.
Yeah, I'm staying after the credits for the blooper reels. Like, let's bring those back for sure.
No, those are like some of my favorite moments, and I'll like lean in. And sometimes I'm bummed if I don't hear the laugh. I'm like, ooh, Zachariah wasn't bringing it. Obviously.
Oh my God.
Because if it was, the laugh would make up to. Yeah, exactly.
It's funny though, because for the longest time, I didn't really realize that you could hear it, because sometimes when Zach's leaning in, I'm holding the phone back here. So it's like under my mouth. So I'm just kind of chuckling to myself, not thinking it was picking up. Now I'm more aware of it. But.
Is there a trap that you guys can fall into? We were talking about like pop culture, and I think it was Girl on Couch who did the Looking for a Man in Finance, 6'5", blue eyes, and they did an interview with her, and she was like, yeah, that blew up, and then I'm like, have this new audience, and I don't know really what to do, and I don't know if to play it for myself or them. I mean, did you ever go through any of that in your creative work of like, oh, I think this will hit really big, or do you always just follow your own voices?
I think for me, I have a very interesting audience, because I do a lot of like real estate, like Zillow listing reviews of crazy houses. So I have a lot of genuine, actual real estate people who think that I'm funny, but want to like send me houses and stuff like that. And then I have people who follow me for everything else and for the podcast. So I have a lot more straight men following me than I thought than I was.
You're huge with the straights.
Big popular. No, I know that can be a real concern. I've never had like a moment that's gone the insane route of that kind of like voice, that sound she made. So I don't know. I think you got to stay true to what you think is funny, because then you'll build a real audience. Obviously, these pop off moments where people come in and they'll like fall by the wayside. But yeah, I think consistently evolving it and cultivating around the same idea. I was doing cooking for a while. I was doing gadgets.
Yeah, which by the way, your test kitchen, where you'd find something like a Goodwill. And then, I mean, just who would think about that? But it works completely.
I think I've tried to keep the same kind of energy and voice through all of it, so it never feels too far off. If I do something new, it's still like the Zachariah experience through it. Yeah. Which I think is easier to then do new things, because when you do something so specific and you want to pivot, that audience feels like they've been forgotten, or they didn't follow you for that. So you got to respect the audience, but also
if I'm not talking Vanderpump Rules, people are pissed.
Yeah.
People are really? Like, well, no. Sometimes they'll be like, "What is this shit?" Like, I'm here to talk about Tom Sandoval, and
So were you going through it last week?
It's been tough, man. Thank you for asking.
It's been a pleasant morning.
It was, but by the way, talk about like a brand. Like I had family members reach out, like, how you doing? How you doing, bud? Like, and it was like the day before Thanksgiving, and then all of a sudden I was like, is this kind of like a death? Because I was like, I felt kind of free, like unshackled. I was like, good. Yeah, let's move on. Yeah. And now I'm like a week late, almost 6 days later, I feel a little sad.
That was the first stage of grief.
Yeah.
You were denial.
But I like that. I like that you felt that immediate, like, okay. You know what I mean? So you know what show that's going to be for me when it ends? I don't know. Are you in the TLC universe at all?
Dude, I have Sister Wives that I wanted to talk to you about. I wanted to talk to you about my main man, Cody Brown, with the little ringlets.
Oh, I feel like we are circling the drain, as anyone who watches the show. So I feel like when that ends for me, I'm gonna have to call you for grief counseling, because you're going through it.
We will watch Sister Wives every Sunday night, and it is glorious television, because now they even have the graphic where it's like 4 rings and then the rings will fall, and it's just the one ring left.
Amazing.
The first time they did that, my jaw was on the floor.
Yeah.
I was like, that's brilliant.
I don't know if you guys saw this week's episode, but Cody was like, it's grief. That's what I'm going through. And he was like crying because like Mary was saying goodbye. And then Mary was like, am I making a mistake? It was so wild. And I'm like, how long are they going to be able to drag this out? And I've seen Robin cry now more than I've cried in my life. And at the same time, it's immensely compelling. But when I try to get new people into it, you have to really talk them into it because it's a rough start for them.
Yeah. It's been a 15-year commitment for me, but I'm locked and loaded. I feel like all the work I put into it is paying off. It's a slow burn right now, but I think this last season really picked up. I didn't watch this like yesterday's episode that just came out, but I do feel like it was manipulative of Cody to like say that to Mary in the final hour because she is in a really weird spot. She doesn't have
all
anybody.
Manipulation.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you guys! She goes then to Stonehenge. And she cries at Stonehenge because she had always wanted to go to Stonehenge. And so she then goes to London too. And she's like world traveling.
Alone.
And you're like, this is so beautiful. In a way, it's so beautiful. And then, because I saw you guys on the podcast, Camp Counselors, you did. I was talking about this earlier. Mormons are having a moment this year.
Yeah, they
like
really
Sister
are.
Wives for the longest time, but Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
Killed it.
Salt Lake City.
Salt Lake's been so good.
Like, what is it? Like, are we just finally catching up to
salt in the
Mormons?
water
We
over
just
there.
said this. What did you say was the reason that you thought they were?
I
You
don't
could
know.
say
if I
it
could
wasn't-
say
it wasn't
that.
fresh.
Well, I think it's just because that's like the sphere of people that they're growing up around is different from what we experience. It's like a bubble, very strange bubble from what I understand from my perspective. Sorry.
Yeah. Magic underwear.
Well,
Yeah.
and you'd be surprised too. I've met so many people in the internet realm who I didn't know were Mormon are Mormon. They pump out public figures. They pump out people who like are creative and want to be in the spotlight. So there's like a lot of TikTok dancers are Mormons. It sounds like it's so there's so and it's not like a weird thing, but it's like this little pocket in the country is just pumping out really
Stars.
Stars.
Yeah, I mean, like,
Stars.
they should cast a whole season of like The Bachelor or The Bachelorette straight out of Salt Lake City.
Yeah, wait, you're so true. Yeah, where's like Love Island? Love Island. Oh, not Love Island. I'm
Island.
sorry. No, what Love is Blind. Love is
The
Blind.
pots,
The
yeah,
pot, the
exactly.
Mormon pots.
I always just imagine, like, if
my
God
God.
exists, is he up there going, stop you? Like, what is? Like, stop.
This
Like, I
isn't
do
what I
not.
meant.
You know,
Or maybe it is. Maybe he's into Bravo.
Yeah. He's like, you girls are killing it.
God
Wow.
is Dorinda Medley, and there it is on the pot.
Whisker in it, everybody. Yeah. So you guys do the podcast. You're doing the live show. Like, what does a day consist of for you? Like, do you have like a schedule of like 8:30 a.m. we film my video, then 12 we film your video? Like, is there a set schedule for you guys?
I kind of wish it was a little more structured. We have with the podcast, we do 2 episodes a week, so we kind of like have our days like because
Yeah, Monday and
edit
Wednesdays, right? Okay.
and I edit everything, so I have to have like research done, sit down and record, and then at the same time be able to edit while doing my own stuff. So I feel like I kind of have to keep myself on a little thing going, but there's wiggle room somehow.
I'm not structured at all. You
No,
You're
he's like,
why?
can't be funny
I-
on command.
no, and I agree with that. I just like need to sometimes
Yeah.
structure
Wow.
myself.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Yeah,
See?
that's
they
why
see
it works.
2 gay men with a podcast, and like, they must be the same. But I'm like, no, we're very different in style and approach, but we get along. We level each other out.
You just had like this recent moment where you had Snooki on,
Yeah.
and you got to bring out a book that was actually signed by Snooki, and you got to see if it was an actual authentic autograph, and it was.
I could not believe it. So my dad got me that book for my 17th birthday. It was Snooki's A Sure Thing is the title of the book. Everybody go
Beautiful
read
title.
it. It was honestly a good book. But I had always wondered if it was actually a real autograph because it was in Sharpie. And you know when you like stop writing with a Sharpie, it kind of
Yeah.
like bleeds into like a circle. There was like a couple of those. So I'm like, okay, somebody paused there. And in my head, I was like, oh, whoever's duplicating this is looking at the original and just trying to like, you know, do that or tracing it or something. And she was like, no, that was mine. I just hated the S. I could not believe it.
When she
guilty
said
my
that, she was
dad.
like, "Yeah, I obviously was upset right there," and I was like, "She didn't even deny." I was like, "Wow," and Dina was there, and I was those moments when it attaches to something in your childhood. Does that
Yeah.
like blow? Like I got to interview the Situation last year, and I
Yeah.
got to show him. I had like the Jersey Shore Christmas ornaments when the first season came out, and I was like, "Look at this, dude," and he was like, "Thank you, brother." And like I'm probably older.
Was
than
he
the
nice to
Situation.
you?
He was so nice,
Good.
but like
Good.
sometimes like you just realize we all watch things in a different way. Like,
Yeah.
you know, that's his real experience. And I look at it as like comedic and realistic, and it means something different for me.
Totally. So when we did their show earlier this year, the Meatball Pod, we hit it off, and I had already known Jenny because I'd done stuff with Jenny before, and I always almost met Nicole and Dina, but like never worked out. So we did the show. It was really great. Dina brought 3 bottles of wine to set. we're like chugging wine. So by the time it ends, we're like literally like lit.
It's 10 a.m.
And
on
then-
a Tuesday when this is happening.
And they have the afternoon off because they're like such like great moms and such family people that when they're working, like they go full in.
Oh, yeah.
So she texts Joey, like her best friend Joey, who's on
yeah.
Out and About. Yeah. So she's like, Joey, like right around the corner of the studio. So we go to his house. Joey puts out a spread of food. We're eating, we're drinking. Joey's like, I gotta go record at Barstool. Heads to Barstool. It's literally me, Jonathan, Nicole, and Dina just in his house. Hanging out.
Taking over everything.
And it's like you have to fight because now I'm trying to like not fangirl. I'm trying to like be like, oh, now we're kind of friends, so I can't be like weird. But I'm like 15-year-old, 13-year-old me is looking at this and be like, how
What's
is
going
this?
on?
How
Exactly.
is this real life?
Yeah, no, totally.
But they're great. Everyone
they're
I've met
definitely-
from that
yeah.
show. Oh my god.
Once you get to know them, they're like real people. I feel like.
And
it
they,
just-
well, I was gonna say they have it like wrapped around their finger. They have that network. Like they're just so valued there that they've got this situation rolling where they're like, when it works best for them, family comes first,
Yeah.
and their filming schedule is like about them.
I think too because they like bring it to the table, you know,
They
and
do.
I don't think they take advantage of it. It's
No,
like
they
definitely
don't.
unique.
No, I mean they
think-
built. I mean they just have Jersey Shore ridiculousness and Teen Mom now. So like
it's
they
different
are
with Bravo because Bravo, there's so many shows that are like all trying, but like Jersey Shore is their crown jewel, so they've set themselves up to like have a very so like all these rumors, right, where it's like will they move on to like New Jersey, Real
Yeah,
Housewives,
yeah.
And I look at the way that they've talked about the situation, and I'm like, why would they ever? They have it made like it's when they film when they want to film, and production works around their schedule because their families come first.
Well, that's the scary thing to think about getting older too, is that we also have to watch them get older. Like, I don't know if I want to live in a world where I have to watch like Mike and Vinny, like, you know, like something like their hip gives out or something
It's
like
golden Jersey Shore, the golden years.
Exactly.
I would-
And we
I
watch-
would love
we
that.
would
I would
watch- Oh, I'll
watch.
watch everything.
We'll watch.
I'm going down with all of these ships, you know?
Yeah.
I was thinking about Thanksgiving. You went to your parents' house, right?
Yes.
Is there ever anything weird when you're hanging out with either of your families where they're like, this isn't content? Stop it. This isn't content.
I don't think so.
No, I think we have a really solid line with. Well, now that you say it, now I'm thinking I have a bit of my show where I talk about my family, and every time I do it in front of them, I like rework it a little bit, so it's not.
Not as
But yeah, but I don't think we really film. I think we appreciate the time off so much that we look at that as like an actual day off because
Right.
our lives, everything we do normally, we're like, wait, this could be a bit like. So
Yeah.
I think when we're at the families, it's kind of like a genuine turn off. But that's the biggest thing about this life is that like everything feels like an opportunity to make something. So it's like, when do you even when you're on vacation, you're like, wait, we could film here. Like,
Well, didn't you get like sent on a cruise? Like, didn't you get sent on a cruise as one of like, and then you ended up loving the cruise?
yeah.
I did work with Royal Caribbean like maybe 2 years ago, and then at the beginning of it was probably 3 years ago at this point, because 2 years ago they sent, as part of the deal, they sent us on a little cruise. around my
Yeah,
birthday.
now we're cruise people.
Yeah,
But even
it's fun.
I did a job with Jose Cuervo this past year, and then I was in the middle of Guadalajara.
Sure. Wait, they sent you to Guadalajara?
Guadalajara, because that's where tequila is.
Of course, yeah.
So
No,
well,
tequila. It's their.
yeah, well, you fly into Guadalajara, and then they train you, but to tequila with the region, and I'm in the middle of tequila, 2 p.m. in the afternoon, full mom guard, filming this bit in the middle of Mexico.
In the middle of town
And
square.
it's like kind of touristy, but also like very local. And these people are looking at me, and I'm like, and then Jonathan's like, what are we doing right now? Like,
I was like, is this okay? Is
is
like,
this safe?
dangerous
Is this
to
good? And
me?
I'm over here like, wow. The video crushed. But after I look back at it, and I'm like, was that the move? Like,
Well, no, then we were
move,
kind
yeah.
of an idiot too, because I mean, we didn't talk about this, but we ended up. They wanted us to stay at the hotel after hours because they had everybody on like a strict schedule. Shouldn't I be saying this? I don't care.
yeah, you're fine.
And they were like, oh, just like, make sure you're staying in the hotel after, just so everybody's safe. And we were like, we're not going to do that. So we like walked into town, no idea where we were, popped into some bars. A dog was following us.
Homeless
and we
dogs
were like,
following us up to a
whatever.
second floor karaoke bar. And
So I took it upstairs and I was like, okay, let's party.
and there's like literally like I don't know, it was just like a wild. It's like all these local people there, and then we're over there like singing Selena, and it was just like the craziest, ridiculous. We have fun. We have fun.
we had fun.
I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but a lot of your listeners are holding space for camp counselors.
And I
As they
heard
should.
that.
Yeah,
As they
no. Is it weird? I mean, obviously you have these parasocial relationships on TikTok and all that, but the podcast actually takes it to this other level
Totally.
where we really get to know how you guys interact, your actual lives. How has that been with? And by the way, what do we call the listeners?
The campers.
The campers.
Yeah.
It's got to be kind of amazing. Has everybody just been like very loving in terms of?
So
We're
so
lucky. We're
loving. We're
blessed.
so lucky. Everybody's so nice. Like so freaking nice.
Yeah, especially on tour when we do the meet and greets, it's kind of like so many people who show up to the tour are fans of the podcast. So like when Jonathan goes out there, he crushes it, and because when it started off, it was like, oh, this is your show, like, and I was like, Jonathan, I want you to open, but he's like, it's more of your thing. But when I was doing my first shows and he wasn't in it, I would call him out in certain jokes, and the room would go nuts because they all listen to the show.
Yeah.
So now that he's a part of the tour, it's so exciting because it feels like, yeah, it's a comedy tour, but there's so many people there that love the podcast. And when we do the meet and greets, we get to meet these people who like know so much about us, and they bring us shirts and jokes, and they remember things. Does that happen to you, like when you talk to people and they remember things that you said that you're like, oh yeah, I guess I did say that.
Yeah, like there will be things that I have no recollection of, and it like means something to them, or like, I
passing blip or something.
Yeah, or like I did the Shannon Bedore on Orange County, which you should watch.
I know.
Horrible that you don't watch.
I know.
But I did an Elton John bit of like I'm still Shannon instead of I'm still standing, and it was like something, and people were like, oh, I love that song, and I was like, it wasn't a Weird Al moment, it was just something that like popped into my head. But I imagine that happens for you guys all the time because it's just on top of your head, and then it's kind of gone and disappears to the next one.
Yeah, I think especially our podcast is like a fictional summer camp that's open year round, and we're the camp counselors, and it's a variety show. So we talk about like news things. We keep it lighthearted, and there's so much.
And people can write in.
Yeah, and people can write in. We give advice. We read people's like embarrassing stories and stuff like that. So with that comes a bunch of lore that we just say something random along the way, and never think it's gonna stick, and then it ends up becoming a whole like mascot. Like I told a story one time about this alligator that got married, and it really happened. It was somewhere in Mexico. It was like a tradition, and they called the alligator Princess Girl. And then I moved on with my day, and that was July 2 years ago. And people still send us stuff that says Princess Girl all the time. Like anytime they see an alligator, they're like Princess Girl. So
yeah,
it's
things
so
stick.
funny.
You never know. Podcasting is fun that way, though.
Yes.
It really.
The audience that are listening or watching this, Boston's already sold out. Like that's the end of the tour, and 2 dates in Boston completely sold out. So if you live in Boston, you're fucked. But there are still like, you got Houston, Austin, Phoenix, Seattle, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Atlanta, Toronto, Charlotte. And then, I mean, is there going to be more dates announced after those, or?
I hope Florida, I hope Denver, and I hope Cincinnati. I'm lucky to work with people now that do that all for me. But after this is done, I'm done. Right now I'm at 22 shows in 1 year, and I want to like call it quits on that for a minute and do writing. I want to write some stuff. But I think,
what is that like? I mean, do you have like a sitcom in mind, a movie?
I have a limited series. Really? I like dark comedies. I love like lighthearted comedies, but I love the intensity of a drama, and I want to write something that
like Happiness, Todd Solondz, or like what kind of?
I don't know. Like so the character stuff is my favorite thing to do. I love doing characters, so I'm really inspired by like anything Chris Lilly does for like Summer Heights High.
God.
I love Fred Armisen in Portlandia, like these kind of people who play multiple characters in the same universe, and I want to develop a show around that with my characters and characters I've never done before. So I think I don't consider myself a comic. I think I have fallen into this, like I love performing, so I don't want to be that comedian who's like hitting the ground. Touring is a lot.
Yeah.
Living out of a suitcase and that grind and that hustle. And I've gotten so much, I don't know, experience and like joy from it, but I want to pause it after this is done. So I want to hit those other cities I'm not there. And then after that, hopefully start writing.
Are you guys, I mean, you're partners in real life, but will you always be creative partners as well? So if this series, would you be producing, editing, and stuff like that, writing on that? Is that, by the way, I already think this is potentially already in the works, right? Like, is this?
Well, it's the thing is with,
just announce it right here.
No, we love working together, but at the same time, when you work with your partner, the lines blur.
Yeah.
And it's not always healthy. because then there's business conversations, and then at the end of the day, you have to go to bed together. So it's like as much as
It never ends.
It never ends. So I hope this next venture, like I'll always consult Jonathan because Jonathan is the funniest person that I've ever met in my life, and I think
really is.
He's so smart. Smart, funny,
way better than you.
So he is. But I think on a major scale, I think it's better for us to not always do everything together for our relationship.
That was why when he had asked me the last time he was touring, because he did like a shorter stint earlier in the year, and I was like, no, I don't want to. We do so much together. We live together. We work together. We have the podcast together. That I was like, this is your thing. Like, I'm going to be there. I'm going to support you. I'm going to go with you. But I don't want to. I don't want to do it.
Well, then you didn't want to do this new tour because he was like, "I've never done this before." And then he does one show and he's like, comes off stage, he goes, "I love it. I'm doing it because you killed it. Because you're so funny. You're so."
All of a sudden, it's Shakira, man. He's like, these hips don't lie. Let's go, baby.
Like, what do you mean? I only have 15.
Yeah. He's turned into a monster. I've been giving you the red light for the last 10 minutes, you asshole. Yeah.
They sent out that cane that like pulls you off stage, and my hat's just left.
No, you're funny. You're killing it up there.
Another thing that I loved and I wanted to check in with you about, and you mentioned it on one of the pods in the last couple of weeks. Where are we on the Survivor casting process?
I can't get into this
because I just want you to know I brought up the casting application for season 49 if you're not going to reapply, but where are we?
So I was so hurt I didn't get cast for this 2 seasons ago.
Let me preface this. Yeah, you let me preface it by saying you applied once.
I applied once, and I think I could have done better with my video. I kind of went into a bathroom and just like shot it. We're so new. I'm only on my 3rd season ever. I'm so late to the game.
Everybody who's been watching since season 1 and has applied is so mad at you right now.
Well, yeah, I mean, but by the way, that's what I want on Survivor because I do not like that it's now turned into like super fans that have seen every moment. I want people to go in a little cold.
Well, then
I'm so confused about what I shot in the darkest sometimes.
You don't have their shot in the dark. I'm like, I don't care. Let's go.
They're like, oh my God, what is that?
I think it's, you know what? I was an MTV kid growing up. I was super into like, I applied to Real World 100 times to get on that.
Wait, do you still have the application videos?
I don't have the app because I never got to, so I got to round 3 one time.
Oh, really? For what city?
And I don't know, it was 2014 I was applying, so I don't know what year that would have ended. And it was already kind of past its prime. It was really on the decline then. But no, I was really into that scope. So I love the challenge. And Survivor is like the challenge on steroids. It's even like better to me. I think it's like, because I don't know, I don't love the celebrity aspect of it sometimes.
Yeah.
And I love, I'm loving Survivor. I'd love to get on it. I don't know though, because they had this guy that was on, who's on this current season that was on from Pod Save America?
Oh, John Lovett.
Yeah, and people were pissed. I'm not familiar with the show, but people are pissed he got voted off #1.
Well, I was kind of looking forward to seeing how, he's like this strategist and a speechwriter, and I'm like,
so you know more than I
want to see more of him. So like the fact that and what's his name, Alex, or who's the guy that like completely lost his mind on that first episode and threw him under the bus?
Wait.
So what's his name right now? Alan? No,
it's something.
Oh my God,
right? He's still there. He's still there.
He's actually getting better too.
Well, now he's starting to it's like a little Colonel. It's like Brando in Apocalypse Now.
So he lives in upstate New York, and after the first episode aired, we passed him on the street, and I turned and freaked out.
No, he was walking. We were in Manhattan,
giving hitchhiker vibes though, for sure. The eyes were giving hitchhiker, and I turned, and I never like freaked out, but I was like, I wanted to stop him and be like, and at that point, I was like, he's going home any week, and the fact that he might make it to the end.
Well, I had John Lovett on a couple before the election, and I just said, "What do you think about him still being there? Do you think he's going to take it?" And he's like, "I can't really talk about that, but
he must know too."
Yeah, I think they kind of know. But you mentioned something that we talk about every week is Sue can put as much dirt on her face as she wants. We still will know her age. I think she thinks it's covering her age up, so she's like, "I look 25 with this mud on my face."
And I don't. Why is she lying? Is it because she wants people to?
Well, no one believes 45, and I'm not being ageist and I'm not being crazy, but that 45 is a real stretch. What is she? How old is she normally?
I think she's
57.
Yeah, I think she's near 60, and she looks amazing for 60. But the fact that and then she like broke the idol and it was like blood everywhere.
Oh
and they
my
thought
God,
she was bleeding.
I was like, girl, just go to the water. Go to the water.
She'll never go in the water.
No one's ever brought up her age either.
Ever.
So she had this,
nobody's saying anything. I think she's going to reveal it and everyone's going to be like, okay.
Yeah, I just think it's one of those things that's such a thing in her mind.
And
They won't accept me, that she now, it's like,
And physically, she's been performing better than any of the other women on the show. So it's
Oh my
like,
God, her balance.
Yeah, her balance. She's done like really well in the challenges.
Oh yeah, she's locked in on those balance ones.
Yeah.
Where I mean, I would just throw my knee out immediately.
You don't want to apply?
There's no way. I'm so out of shape, and but like it would just be one of those things. And I'm like OG Survivor, where I saw like you didn't even get to the first season when Richard Hatch was like the winner, and he would like just get nude to like intimidate people.
I have seen
So
that.
And I'm like, there's just no way.
I know the type.
I would have to like wear a burqa the entire like I'll never take my shirt off. I don't even do it in the shower. Like there's no way. What are shows like we're like actually growing up as a kid, what were your favorite shows? Like if you were an MTV kid, what were you into?
I loved Buffy the Vampire Slayer. My cat's name is Buffy. What else did I like? I was a big Disney Channel kid. I went to an audition for Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. Turns out it was a scam.
Sorry.
So that was super fun.
Wait, when did you realize it was a scam?
Oh, right before we paid. I went up we did
I was
the
on
waiting.
set, yeah.
Yeah, we did the waiting game. It was a lot. Yeah, I was big on Disney Channel. I was a big Disney kid.
Yeah, that's what I was like as a kid. Like I remember, like for me, it was like Corey Feldman and Corey Haim was like a different, and I was like, I'm gonna be a teen star. Like when I was a kid, like that was a dream. And then like I lived in Kansas, so there was like, and I didn't have an agent or anything like that, but I just thought, oh, I'll be discovered one day. And then you get past that age, and you're like, I guess maybe in my 20s it's gonna happen, or I guess in my 30s. But you have this dream of being a child star, and then you start seeing like, oh, that didn't work out well for a lot of these child stars.
Yeah.
It would have been different for me though.
Yeah, no, 100%. But that's why I remember hearing on the radio to come and audition for Sweet Love Zach and Cody. I was like, I am there.
Maybe a blessing.
And yeah, and maybe it was. But yeah, I totally, like every year something would go. I'm like, well, 2006 is my year. I'm like, okay, well, 2007 for sure, babes.
What are the things in 2024 pop culture wise as we kind of in 2024 that stand out to you? I mean, obviously we're in like Wicked Mania right now. I think you guys just saw that this past week, all 5 hours of it. Like, but what else what were your earworms? What were you watching that you loved?
Oh my God. I don't know. I think currently right now, I think Bravo is just delivering a lot to us, which is great.
Do you agree on the Bravo shows you like? Or
Yeah. We're locked
the show's
in.
not always the people, but like we can wager with each other.
I feel like I have an eye for people when people give up on people. Like I think for a lot of years, people hated Dorit. And now that Dorit's having her renaissance, I was there. When Erica Jane was going to the pits, I knew I could see past the noise and said, you know what? I don't love what happened to you, but I can stand by you, and I'm that kind of person.
I love it because Dorit really is having a season, and we were talking about this earlier.
She's crushing it.
What do you think is up with Kyle in the sense that Dorit seems more upset about the Kyle breakup than the PK breakup. You know, like, and Dorit is angry. Dorit will let PK talk his shit for some reason, but Kyle, it's like, fuck you, Kyle.
Yeah, I think she's taking all the anger out on Kyle via how she feels about PK. PK is controlling and PK is scary. PK scares.
Single PK. He's
Single P. And I also love when she says his name, she goes like PK. It's not PK, it's PK.
Also, I don't like the comparison of maybe her being shrewd or just like, I don't know. Like if he said it, he said he's an alcoholic and he has a drinking problem. Like who's taking care of the kids here? Because I'm assuming it's Dorit. So like Dorit has a leg to stand on for being a bitch to you if you're not even showing up because you're on a bender and leaving her with the whole.
And also the house got broken into like 2 times. Like get back with the kids.
I don't
Let's
know.
get that ring doorbell.
I never liked PK.
I didn't
sorry.
either.
I don't like
I
Get
didn't
Boy
either.
George off the show. I'm sick of it. So that's
Like,
I'm
single PK out with Boy George and Mo. Yeah.
Oh my god. And
Mo.
even I actually used to love Mo, but
I did too.
I mean, Kathy, like I was just talking about that earlier, like how many machines is keeping Kathy Hilton alive in that first episode? It looked like she was like hooked up to like 30
I loved
machines.
that.
So
I was like, this
iconic.
is amazing.
That is when I was younger and I thought of like the women in Beverly Hills and Hollywood.
She is Beverly
That
Hills.
is what I pictured. And I am just so grateful that I got to see
And I
that
love
on
that
television.
Dorit got the invite over to Kathy's because Kathy like summoned her once the PK news broke, and Dorit was like so excited she was like smoking the cigarette down the hills, you know?
That
What
was
did you think
wild.
about-
There's a spike in the cigarette sales.
No, serious. What did you think about Kyle reaching out to PK and not to Dorit? Did you talk about that?
I've mentioned it like on like a recap before, but I didn't really. it just shows that they all did have really personal relationships, but I feel like we're missing a piece. Like, I don't think they were like full out swingers or anything. And I do not think that Kyle in any way has sort of like any kind of intimate relationship with PK. But I do think that Kyle felt like, I don't want to reach out to Dorit right now. So I'll give PK some love because I don't want to deal with Dorit after she threw me under the bus with those text messages.
I still think that that's your friend, and they're clearly going through something that you are still going through. Like Kyle's like still grappling with all of that. So why not reach out?
But to me, I was like, that validates Dorit because Kyle will said there that they were never that close. But if you were never that close, you feel close enough to PK to reach out, but not to me.
Okay.
Exactly.
That felt in Kyle, and she is switching the story a lot. And I love Kyle.
Yeah.
15 years on that show. She's given her life to that show. Thank God for Kyle, but I am so team Dorit right now. And
I do love Kyle, but I do think this, I mean, if you think about it in like, oh, it's a takedown season of this person, I really feel they're going to try to pull Kyle into the light of like, you better tell the truth.
Yeah, I think too, she hides a lot, and she has like, maybe, I don't know if this is true, but I feel like she has a lot of say in what's like shown in her life.
Oh,
and
totally.
She doesn't show a lot.
She's friends with all the producers since season 1, like Alex Baskin, who does OC, That, and Vanderpump Rules.
Yeah, so I think she can, allegedly, in my mind, gets to get the shinier version of everything, whereas everyone has kind of like bared it all. And
do any housewives reach out to you guys?
I'm friends with a few. Yeah. We're really good friends with Caroline Manzo. We've been
amazing.
Yeah, I know we've been to the Manzos a few times.
You've been?
Yeah, we're friends with Lauren. We're really good friends with Lauren. We're great friends with Caroline. Caroline gets a lot of flack.
I'll tell you something about
I don't think
family.
people know that.
Don't know, and I'm never gonna say that.
Like they've shared things with us that we'll never repeat, obviously. But I think that family is so real, and the people I watched on TV when I went to their house are the exact same across the board. The food was laid out like a chef's table, and it was family from day one. And it was, if you can ever make it home to her family, come here for the holidays. And they'll check on us. Caroline checks in on us all the time.
Oh my God.
Yeah, she is. They're real people.
Really nice.
They're just
really
like genuine. And I like TV needs them back because even their dynamics now, like when Chris and Lauren are shouting over each other about what they're doing for like their holidays, they're crazy. Like they're
Manzo'd with children. It was a great spinoff.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll always be upset at whatever happened on that Ultimate Girls trip because we now are losing out on Caroline being back on television.
Yeah.
Like we will not get that opportunity ever again. And we would have seen Alex McCord from Old School Roni.
We need get Alex and Simon back on our team.
Why don't they have? Do they have a podcast? Why
No,
don't
they actually are raising
mic.
their kids, and they got like a graduate
kids
degree.
are
Their kids aren't
older
kids
now.
anymore. Their kids can have a podcast.
They're
they
like
could literally,
21.
If they all had a podcast together, I would listen to that.
Oh, every episode.
I know. Brandy is just, how many times can it be someone else's fault other than Brandy?
I know. Well, and then all the time, like, well, I'm not on Twitter anymore, but back in the day, it would be like 9 o'clock, and you'd like, you just smelled like the wine. You're like, oh, Brandy's drinking again, you know, and you would just see the misspelled like Barb throwing out. Salt Lake City this season. Are you guys into it?
I'm so into it. It's unbelievable.
It's I keep saying it's like David Lynch and John Waters if they had a baby in the daylight.
That is
right because
so
it's
funny.
like
Get
you're like
out.
it's like a daytime horror film too. You're like
so
Midsummer
good.
where you're like it's so bright. It's crazy.
How is it so scary? Yeah, it is such good television right now. Mary aside, I mean, like I'm really.
But who would have
I
thought
like
Mary would have been this real ever, or the one that
never,
we would have
never
actually
me.
listened to?
And my heart goes out, but I feel like it's also important because so many people are going through that and an addiction with their kids. And
when he was going like, you know, I love Xanax, Xanax with my thing, Xanax with acid, Xanax with Coke, Xanax with this, I was like,
yeah.
whoa, this is like you're really being honest.
and that was really like a shock.
And all
not
the
just that he
comments-
was going through that, but that she was that open too. It was a lot.
Yeah, it feels like the public's perception of it too is everyone's like so like they're a championing Mary. Like like
I just never thought I would say that because I'd been like an anti-Mary person
Me
a couple
too.
seasons.
Me too.
And then all of a sudden I'm like, I know 2024 has been weird, but like, do I love Mary Cosby? Do I
Yeah.
like empathize and want her to do good?
And I also think because if you watch that last episode, right before she had that conversation with Robert Jr., she was acting like weird towards the girls, but not telling them something was going
Exactly,
on in their life.
yes.
So it's like, you got to wonder if it's how long it's been going on for, because it didn't just happen overnight.
No. Since he was 16.
Yeah, since he was 16, he was saying. And also if she's been dealing with this, and that's why earlier on the show she was acting the way that she was.
Because last season I was so annoyed by her presence, and I feel like she'd pick and choose where she'd show up, and maybe that's why
she was.
Yeah, you're
'cause
right.
She
Hey,
just
good
like
call
ignores
there.
But I love that Meredith like beckons her to some like art gallery of like bad photographs. And, like, hello, Mary, what's going on?
the pose when she walks in, she hears her walk in, she doesn't turn around.
She turns and says, "Hello, Meredith. Hello, Meredith." It's like a soap opera. It is.
And Meredith, we still haven't recovered from Meredith's bangs the episode before. Of like,
Oh wait, nobody's talking about how Bronwyn looked so much like Audrey Hepburn.
Yeah.
she looked beautiful.
She did. I'm not on Twitter, but I feel like maybe people on Twitter were talking about it. I don't know.
Can we give a little Bronwyn fun fact?
Please.
So we were just at the Stonewall Gala for it was the Stonewall and their second annual Brick Awards Gala, and it raises a bunch of money for the LGBTQIA like community, and they fundraise for a bunch of different like activist groups across the country. So Bronwyn was there. She was like a special guest. She brought her husband. What's her husband's name?
Well, Heather says it's Alan, but it's Todd.
It's Todd.
Todd?
Yeah.
Todd.
right?
It's Todd. Yeah, no, it's Todd.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't make me
Not
say
all
yes
the
or
same
no.
way.
You
No,
know.
now you
what
like
is
scared
it?
me. I'm like, maybe it's not. Yeah.
No, sure. Yeah, it's Todd.
Bronwyn's like such a queer ally, you can tell,
Yeah.
but they were doing this like live auction betting for fundraising, and the owner of the Yankees donated his suite for one game, and Todd, I believe, paid $9,000.
He wasn't backing down. He kept
He
bidding
kept going
higher
back and forth.
until
$9,000 for
it
10
ended.
people to go see
To
like
use
the
the
Yankees
suite
game
of
for the
them,
suite
yeah.
for 10 people. And like obviously, yeah, like Todd's getting this amazing experience, but the money that he spent and threw down on and won is going towards the Stonewall Brick Awards Gala.
love that, yeah.
And I was like, okay, put the money where their mouth is. Like,
I'm so curious about that relationship though, because we've seen so many times on reality shows and housewife shows where like I love Bronwyn. She's such a great first season housewife. But like I think Todd is having a rocky start because he's like,
hates
oh,
it.
you got to get out of here, Lisa. You can't. You're like
Yeah.
you're not allowed to just shut arguments down.
I
But he's
know.
used to doing that, so I'm wondering if that's going to cause any friction in their actual relationship.
and also, how did he not know what he was getting into?
Exactly. That or like, did he think it was like on the Smithsonian Channel? Like, what is it? Like, what did he say? Or like, yeah, go do that. I'm collecting Starbucks mugs. Like, what is?
Oh, that's such a funny core.
But isn't that like that's what I love about? And by the way, that's a lot of your content is about like niche little things like that.
Yeah.
Of like, oh, I'm collecting Starbucks mugs or something. To me, that would be in one of your videos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it would
Oh my
be.
god, I love stuff like that. I love to see what random things people call
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, he's definitely a wild card, and I feel like the only person that can shut Bronwyn down is him. I feel like
Don't clip her wings. Let her fly.
Thank you,
Amen.
because
Don't
I
dim
feel
her
like
light.
she's so great, and then he'll like look at her sometimes, and I feel like she just like shrinks, and I don't love that about him.
Yeah, I don't like that at all. Because, well, what is your take on? Sorry to get so geeky and minute with you. What is your take on Heather Gay this season?
I think she's overproduced, and I think Heather Gay is. Someone said it on TikTok. I won't take credit for this. Sometimes people play for themselves, and sometimes people play for the audience. And she says things that she thinks are sound bites and audience, and I don't love that. Where Bronwyn says, "Because it was my goddamn credit card," and that's a sound bite,
That
and
was
that's
crazy.
honesty.
Yeah.
And I think
And that came out of a real honest place. But
Yeah.
every time she does a talking head, I feel like it's written down.
Yes,
it's
it is.
produced.
I
It
think
is
she
rehearsed.
has-
I still think Receipts Proof Timeline was rehearsed.
it was,
I
but
think
that
it
was like
was.
fine. But I think even her,
Yeah, because it fed us. Like that was a good thing. But I think it comes down to like how real is.
like, does
the
she have a
reality.
writer or something with her? And it
I
seems
wouldn't
like she
be
does.
Well, I think she's writing, but it's like I think she views herself like the marvelous Miss Maisel or something, and she's like doing bits, and she's like the reliable narrator. When I'm like, you're just as kooky as the rest of them. Don't think you are better or that you know the actual deal, because also it's like it's reality Von Teese, man. Somebody made fun of you on Instagram. Get over it. It's like we have gone through the war together. I'm like, somebody made fun of you on Instagram. It's okay.
Yeah.
I also think sometimes she in particular feels like a different person when she's doing the talking head interview versus when she's like actually on the show. Like I feel like I kind of like her sometimes. In
Oh,
the
I loved
talking
her the
heads,
first season.
but then not so much when she's like actually in the show. So I don't know what that's.
Yeah.
I like her
that.
though. What is your thoughts on Brittany?
Oh, I call her Brittany.
Brittany.
Brittany. I love her in the sense that, did you watch any of her TikToks with her dressed as like in the green makeup singing Defying Gravity around Vegas? Like that's iconic.
Someone once again on TikTok said it. They said that she has this quality of OG Housewives where it's like so delusional and out to lunch. And I'm like, I kind of need her to say.
100%.
I don't want anyone to leave, for the record. I don't want anyone from Salt Lake. I
completely agree.
And the only one that could leave, I think, for me is Whit. Whitney's not delivering.
Don't say that about me.
But honestly, then it's like I can't imagine that show without her. So I kind of need everybody to say.
Oh, I want more Alibaba. I want more like we've
Wait,
like.
okay, what happened with that? Why
we've just dropped it.
So
we just dropped
my
it.
thought was, I don't think she would ever screenshot or save a picture from Alibaba and post it. So where was that coming from?
See, that's the confusing thing. Like, why use the exact photo on your Prism website that was on the Alibaba website? That's the thing where I'm like, that does not.
She wouldn't have done that.
If it's, hold on, wait, what is that website? Oh, archive.org. You could probably check if it was ever posted publicly. It's saved in the archive.
I love that you're like, you could probably check, and I'm like, I could, but I won't. I'll just
No,
continue
it'll
to
be the
just talk
mystery.
shit
Wait.
and like,
Give
I'm
myself
good,
a
man. Yeah, no, I think that show is like, it has all these elements that shouldn't work, but they come together, and it's like this weird mutant housewives show that like, you're like, there's no way this really exists. And then you see Brittany or Brittany out there in Vegas doing, or like the What About Me song with all her Mormon friends. It was like, what about me? Because she said, what about me at Mary's brunch, and now she made a song with her friends about it.
I didn't see the
And she's
song
selling
yet.
a shirt that says, what about me? And this Jared Osmond, this guy is a real mover and a shaker. He's like, I love charcuterie.
He's dark. He's got some dark energy about him. I don't like him at all.
I don't
He
appreciate his
loves
vibes.
the spotlight.
He does. The way he'll show up for any filming. He's like, even if I'm not invited, I'll show up.
And then he was like DMing with Mary. He's like, you're a very special lady.
That
Mary."
was
He goes,
good.
you're one of God's favorite daughters.
They showed the screenshots too. I'm like, that is nuts.
And Mary goes, I
What?
want nothing to do with this. And she just like, keeps it moving. I'm like, Mary's actually killing it this year.
Could you imagine Mary sexting with Jared Osmond? Like
No.
how?
Oh my God.
Mary
I'm
don't
so
know how
sorry.
to. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey, that was
You're
not
like, no, I gotta go. It's not.
Hey, cut this now.
This has been fun, yeah. No, the Jared Osmond, like, but it's another weird thing because you're like, they really value the Osmonds as a family and a celebrity conclave, and I love that they still like this. Osmonds had their peak in the early '80s, and they're still like, whoa, you're dating somebody that's related to like Donnie and Marie Osmond.
Like
That's
Osmond
amazing.
Way. Like, what was that? The whole.
Oh, that's
address?
what, like behind the gates of Osmond Way. Like that's the reality show I want to see.
Wait, that's a great title.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be-
Once again, Utah is pumping it out. They're just a whole different breed.
It's definitely a bizarre place. I would like to visit.
I know. I want to go to Swig, the soda shop.
Oh my
The
God.
dirty sodas. Have you had a
That's
dirty
what-
soda?
No, but I want to go. I almost considered, because I got to interview all the like 5 of the girls from Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
So fun.
And they like taught me the apple dance. And, I'm not really good at TikTok or anything, but, you do it for the love of the game. And I want to go there and just like go to like Jesse's like hair shop. I think she's amazing.
I love
think
Jesse. I love Demi. Demi and Jesse are my favorites.
Well, they're all like, this is why Salt Lake works and Sister Wives and all this stuff. If you have this foundation of religion,
True.
it's
True.
like that. Like it's like Jersey had this foundation of family. Like this family. Like we're thick as thieves. Salt Lake has this foundation of religion that a lot of people don't understand. And so they're 18 years old, getting married and starting a family and not being able to explore their sexuality, not getting to be able to get like wasted in your early 20s or early 30s or early 40s. You know what I'm saying? Like they now are experiencing
That's
this.
so smart to say that. It's like, what is the foundation of the most successful franchises? Like, what are they built on? It's like, wow. That was
Yeah,
cool.
I mean, but like everybody, like Beverly Hills to me is like Michael Bay, big budget, kind of like, like a little soulless, but like it has its moments. And that's why I think Salt Lake, whatever they're producing, it's like a hit factory.
Yeah, it is. And it continues on.
What else do you guys watch as we start winding down?
What else are we watching?
Can I just like give Potomac flowers? I just always am out here fighting the good fight for Potomac. I feel like we're never talking about them enough. And
You know what I
just
think it's
love
weird
this
that it's like
franchise so much.
it's Sunday night for some reason, and I wish it was on a Wednesday because I feel like that almost the Bravo news cycle is better. I know that's like a little inside baseball, but like to me, Sunday night, I'm already depressed that it's Sunday night, and those ladies are so. Like this season is a great season compared to last season. Like it's so good.
I think Mia is one of the best housewives of all time, and I don't think anyone's ever said that out loud. because
Wow.
Mia shows
Clip
up.
this.
My favorite thing about a housewife is a housewife that will stir the pot, get into a huge argument, and then immediately will apologize and move on. Like, I think that's like the best way to be a housewife, is to like be able to apologize and move on. We're on season 8 of Jersey, and I'm watching the downfall of Siggy Flicker because
she
Siggy
keeps
cannot get out of her
holding
own
on to
way,
it.
and she like same thing with Lisa Rinna. When you get too mean and you can't back it up and move fresh, you lose the show.
Lisa Rinna became a caricature of herself.
Yeah.
She became somebody doing an imitation of herself, and she didn't have storylines of her own, so she would be rabid on somebody else's storyline, and it just became so disingenuous that you started rooting against her.
Yeah.
You know?
When you get like psycho like that, you lose the audience. And I just feel like Mia, season after season, has the craziest storylines, has the biggest blowouts, and then tucks her tail between her legs and says sorry, and then
she can wake up the next day.
Mia's a
and break bread.
masterclass, and I don't think we talk about Mia enough.
I
I love her.
Gordon's like, this bullshit. This bullshit.
Yeah.
Coffee and tea. I love Ashley too.
And Karen Huger, I mean, like, what a, like, I got to meet her at like a red carpet thing, and I really felt like I was like meeting royalty. I was like, Grand Dame, over here. Like, I was like, and I got really nervous all of a sudden because I thought it felt like a Beyonce type, like, presence.
She gives that vibe.
She has an energy.
The reads on that show, I love Potomac, and I'm always just trying to be like, Potomac.
No, you're right. I mean, and Married to Medicine, another amazing show. I mean, they
I've
just
never
premiered.
watched that. Get me on
If
that.
you ever, when you ever finish Jersey, and if you're only on season 8, it's going to be a minute. But go to season 1 of Married to Medicine, or even hop to season 3, and they've like just consistently brought it. But it's another one of those shows that kind of gets lost in the shuffle in a sense.
Yeah.
I've heard great things about it. Yeah, well,
Phaedra's been on this past 2 seasons,
and they moved her out, right? Now she's on Atlanta.
No, she's going to be on both. So she Married to Medicine, and that's the Traitors effect.
Have you met her?
Yeah.
So I did a Traitors press junket thing, and I worked with her, and I could not believe, and that was like the heat of her being like just like popping off, how like easy she was to work with. And I'm pitching bits here
she was.
I'm bringing cloaks, and I'm like, can you just do this character? She said yes to everything, and was so great. So was
on
Sheree.
her team. Yeah, everyone on her team, like hair, makeup, everybody was so nice and like helping how they could. I was like,
I couldn't
this
believe
is
it.
So great.
Well, that's what I love about like those Traitors type shows, is when they really commit. And like Phaedra's somebody that commits. Yeah. Like she as a traitor, she was in that turret, and she was like, we will kill tonight.
She knows I
was like, you are really going for it. I love it.
I loved her.
I love the Traitors. I'm so excited for this new season. I'm like ready for it.
And you weren't going to watch it. He watched the first half of episode 1, and he wasn't about it, and he went to bed, and I woke him up in the middle of the night, and I was like, I'm on episode 3, and you're not going to believe it.
And I had to go back.
And he had to. I rewatched it with him.
And I'm so glad you did, because I would have missed out.
Have you guys done the UK?
No,
Traitors?
I haven't. No.
And that, I mean, UK Traitors is really, really good.
Do you know the
gameplay.
people on it?
No, it's like Survivor. It's like just commoners. Then there's Australia, and they had 2 seasons. The second season has a couple reality show people, but not really big like American reality show. But they're really good iterations of that kind of game if you're into the gameplay of it all.
The gameplay is interesting on it.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for this new season. We got Dolores. I'm excited about that.
You got Tom Sandoval. What's up, dude? Let's rock and roll.
I'm excited for him because I think, what's his next move after this? Is he done?
It's not Vanderpump, and they just closed Schwartz and Sandy's, or they're closing it.
We didn't get to go. Did you ever get to go? Of course you did.
Yeah, I got to go.
What did you think about it? Was it good food?
No, it was fine. It was fine, but it was one of those things. Like, I unfortunately got way in too deep with that Vanderpump. Like, I went to Coachella with like Tom and Ariana and Raquel, or Rachel, the artist formerly known as Raquel, like before like all this blew up. So when Scandal happened, I was like, no, it's not true. It didn't fucking happen. Are you insane? I was like there was, I would have, I almost like fought with DJ James Kennedy because like, you're an asshole. This isn't true. And then I was like, oh, it is true. It really was, it blew everybody, even the friend group, the actual friend group, people really truly didn't know.
Yeah, a blind side.
But isn't it going to be interesting to see where they are 1 year from now, 2 years from now? Like, that's what I'm interested where they all land.
Even Lala on Watch What Happens Live a couple weeks ago with Jury, it seemed like she'd even kind of like, they seemed like there has been some healing, at least on her
A little bit, except for Ariana. She just says like, because I was on Jeff Lewis which you guys should go on Jeff Lewis. He would love you guys. I don't know if you.
Jeff Lewis scares the
Oh no, he would love you. Like I go on there every week, and I was on there with Lala, and like we got into it about Ariana because this is just like a month ago, and she like all of a sudden I was like, nothing has healed. Like she was like,
Really?
no, I have not talked to her since, and I don't plan on talking to her. And I was like, aren't you guys supposed to be filming soon? Like it was really sad because you got the sense of like, oh, that's set in stone that she does not want to talk to Ariana, and I think vice versa.
Well, Ariana is
Killing it.
She's and the opportunities are flowing, and everything she's offered, she kills. She's doing so good at everything.
And that's the thing, because she doesn't, I think, like, she's probably relieved to not have to share any of her personal life anymore. And she actually gets to host a reality show that's really popular. She gets to be on Broadway. She, like, gets to act and do everything that she wanted to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Ariana's killing it. It'll be interesting to see where they all go. And I mean, I want the best for Sheena. So it'll be interesting to see how she, like, kind of goes in there with the Valley. So the Strip Maltese tour, you can get your tickets. I'm going to put all the links up there, but I really want people to check out Camp Counselor podcast, because if you don't know about this podcast, I think you are really going to dig it. It is, it's just like all of your content. It makes me happy. It makes me laugh. I just genuinely like you two as people, and you have not disappointed me today. Thank you so much. I was really nervous to talk to you guys because I was like, what if they're assholes? And then I can't watch their shit anymore. I was like, and you guys just, I'm just so rooting for you and everything in 2025.
Thank you so much.
What else is coming up for you besides the tour? Anything we can support? Just go to your TikTok, your Instagrams.
Yeah, what else is? I can't even see.
Nunu Nana,
Friday
where
night.
we can.
Yeah, we gotta get some merch out there or something.
Yeah, that's
we'll
why. Like,
work
is there
on it.
merch at the tour? Like,
we're doing Camp Counselor podcast merch at the next leg of the
Oh my
tour.
God,
so it'll be
you've
there.
never said that out loud.
Well,
Hey,
an
we've
email
never
was
said that.
sent. Hey, thanks for having us.
would you do
so
live? Wait, would you
much.
ever do live podcasts?
I think so now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have
For
you done
sure.
that before?
No, it's like a dream for 2025. I'd really like to do one. But I mean, I think it lends itself so easily for you guys to do that. And-
Anyone would be lucky to see you. You're crushing. As a leader of this, I feel very comfortable. You've been great.
Yeah.
You've been
Okay.
awesome. This has been a
Well,
great
hopefully
podcast.
you'll come on again somewhere down the line.
Oh my God,
or when
whenever.
you come to Los Angeles, I'm going to go to the Wiltern show with my girlfriend, and maybe we can do a
Yes.
studio thing in Los Angeles. or
Yeah,
something.
we're
Yeah.
there for the week
That would be
after, so
great.
that would be
I'll,
awesome.
I'll take you guys to Jax's saloon from VPR. Yeah.
Oh, we've been.
Oh, we went
wait,
opening night and we ended up
went.
crawling on the floor. We went opening night
Opening night.
with our friend
By
Aaron
chance.
Guilfoy, and the three of us were taking shots. The place was completely empty.
Here's
Mama's
Mama's
beer
beer
cheese.
cheese.
It was freezing
Yeah.
cold.
It was empty, and so were the soap dispensers. And we
But
were
we had
taking shots and
fun.
crawling on the floor, and it was the time of our lives.
We had a good time.
You guys are living the dream, man. This,
Yeah, you
this
just-
is like Motley Crue early years. You're just really doing it. Yeah. Okay, you
It's
guys,
so fun.
go subscribe to their podcast. I'm going to put the link for the tickets. Go support these guys, and I'll talk to you again hopefully soon.
Thank you
Thank you so much for having us.